Hello, welcome back to the Fish Locker out on the boat. Now it is a lovely day on the boat already, and what we're doing is we're heading out somewhere, and I'm just stopping off to try and see if I can find a little bit of bait. Now there's a couple of patches of sand eels. I'm assuming they're sand eels. I've been steaming where I need to go, and I've just seen a couple of patches of fish in the water, so I'm going to stop and see if I can find one. At the same time, I'm going to throw a lure around just to see if there's a pollock or a bass. We've got a long steam today, so I'm not going to stop for long. As you can see, we'll come out just at first light, and we're running with the tide. I picked the time of day so that my journey, I was steaming with the flow of tide. So when I'm going there, I'm going with the tide in the one direction, and I'm going to fish, and then I'm hoping to come back the same. It is a beautiful morning. I am really glad to be able to get out. Oh. Well, first blood. First blood's a little pollock, and it's managed to splash the lens. Of course it has. Caught on a Skerries eel. Must be really small patches of pilchards or something. Something really small. Carry this drift on for another 5 minutes, and then we'll make tracks, I think. Make tracks because we've got a long way to go. We haven't yet got where we're going. I found a little area of reef I wanted to try out. I just threw a lure down, and again found another little pollock. There you go. Nothing massive yet, but no, nothing massive, but fish is a fish. I'm still hoping for some lawns. Some lawns or some joeys. The area of ground that we're drifting over is quite rocky. And because we're drifting at a knot and a half, I'm hoping that if I can put that rubber lure out there as we're drifting over, the drift will just make it swim. It's quite a cold morning this morning. That's why I've had my coat on. I think I've hooked a big pollock on the sabikis. Yeah, I am. That is a nice sized pollock on sabikis. See the size of the hook that he took? Yeah, you've got to be quite careful like that, because a big pollock in one crashing dive can very easily snap your feathers. We'll have one more drift of that, and then we're going to have to make tracks. Right, we've got to where we're going, and I've managed to find myself some bait. A sneaky mackerel hidden in there with the lance. We'll get these guys in a bucket with some water in. Keep them alive. But yeah, this is what we're after. These live lawns. Tell you what, it's thick with them down there now. The area that we're on is a big sandbank, and what I'm doing at the moment is we're bang on slack water. We're bang on slack water, and as soon as the tide starts flooding, I'm going to put the anchor down. Sorry, there's a little bit of a drop on the lens, I'll get that in a second. As soon as the tide starts flooding, I'm going to put the anchor down. I'm just trying to get some bait now. I've got a live bait sand eel there on the bottom at the minute, just in case there's a flatfish. You know, like a turbot or a brill or something like that. You could even get a bass and codling like that. It's just a bonus fish rod. Right now I'm just collecting bait. Ten more minutes and then we'll see about putting the hook down. Right, well, something has taken the live sand eel, and I've just got a bite on this rod now as well. I don't know what it is. I was fishing it tight on the bottom. I just let it drift out behind the boat while I was setting the other rods up, and all of a sudden it just went doosh, doosh. That rod's got a bite on now as well. I had to leave it on the ratchet while I deal with this. Being on a bank, it could be anything, could be a bass, could be a codling. It slid out in the tide. I've definitely got a fish on that other rod now. Oh wow, wow. Tell you what, I hope this doesn't come off. I'm all stuck up in my landing net. Come off. If that isn't if that isn't an 8-pound bass, I don't know what is. Look at the size of that bass. There's the hook hold, look. God, that fish is going to be somewhere to France by the time I get hold of it. Look at the size of that bass. What an absolute monster that is. Size of belly on it. Wow, what a cracker. Right. Try and keep that in the net. While I deal with this other fish. Now whatever it is, it's dropped it, I think. What a cracker that bass is. Landed in 100 feet of water with the spinning rod. Show you the rig in a second. Let me get myself sorted. Look at that fish. What an absolute stunner. Coming at just shy of £8, £7.12. She's not messing about, is she? Oh, fantastic! And this was literally the rig. It's just my standard live bait rig. A locked in bullet lead of about 3 ounce. Say 3 or 4 foot, £20 fluoro. And this time I ended it in, I think this is a 6/0 specimen extra. And I just took one of my live sandales that I caught earlier. Hooked it up through the jaws like that. And let it drop back in the tide. Right, now let's get back to what I was doing. Let's get some baits out. I have 3 rods out with 3 different baits. This one here has got a little strip of sand eel. The taller one on the left's got mackerel on. And the little spinning rod has got a live bait on. And I've got a bite on here. It was only like a... There it is again. Could be a whiting, could be a gurnard. What we're hoping for today, other than the odd bonus bass, is rays. I think I'm going to have to put a larger lead on here. All the rig is it's just a very simple sliding ledger rig with a strong swivel, a decent hook length. Whoa. So it's got a knot in there. Have to get that out. Tide's picking up a bit now. Have to increase the leads. The area I'm at, there's a big sandbank and I'm anchored just that side of it, so hopefully my baits, if the bank's like this and the tide's going that way, the fish generally hold up on the back side of the bank, so that's where I'm trying to get my baits. I'm getting a bite. I'm into a fish on this rod, and can you see the bite on that one? Just what I suspected. The token dogfish. Let's hope that's the only one. I think I have found a pack of dogfish. Get this bait put back out. Just a long slither of the belly strip. An even bigger dogfish. It's actually not a bad size for a dogfish. Oh, that lens is always getting wet. Things are starting to get a little bit out of hand. Double shots of dogfish. I've been anchored up now for about half an hour. I think that's probably 9 dogfish I've had. The tide has swung round somewhat weird, and I've ended up where I'm fishing down tide towards the front of the boat. And I've just had my first proper fish. I don't know if you can see the rod here, but typically it's on the weaker hook length. I put a weaker hook length down there to see if I could pick out like a turbot or a brill or something small, and that's the one that the bigger fish has taken. I'm just trying to be really gentle with it, because a decent sized ray, although they don't really have sharp teeth, they have sharp crushing pads. And this is only, I think it's 25 pound fluoro. But I have literally had to wade through 27 dogfish. I got all the rods out and it was just dogfish, 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 dogfish. And I just literally sat down to have my sandwiches because I thought, just short rod go, and then just go and bat straight over. Currently in 110 feet of water. Yeah, it might seem strange, but we've got wind completely against tide. So the tide's going in that way and the wind's going in that way. Oh, I can relax a little bit now. Tell you what, he's heavy. It's a male blonde ray. He's well into double figures. And it was on the tiniest strip bait. On a strip bait about that long. There you are. That was the bait that he was on, look. Hook's popped straight out. There you go, that was, I think that was a 5/0 or a 6/0. See how his mouth there? These have got like strong crushing pads on. Wow, tell you what, I'm going to get a weight on this. I would put him over 10 pound at least. I've got that ray. Oh. I've got that ray in a net sack, which I just leave over the side. Leave it over the side in the water so it can recover. It's too big to fit in the bucket that I've got. The bucket that I use to recover fishing, the ray's just too big. So that's why that net sack really comes in handy. This rod, this bigger one, is an up-tider. Generally it's longer and you cast it. Usually if you're fishing like down tide fishing like I am, where the boat is in the tide, you'll cast it up towards the anchor. As it is, I'm actually casting this up down tide, if that makes sense. And it's just had a bite on it. You fish this with a slightly different rig. The other rods have been fishing with a running ledger. This is fishing with a bolt rig. Just had a couple of real nice bites on it. I'm just letting it develop. I made up with that ray. I was in two minds about pulling up the anchor and moving, just because I was getting absolutely plagued out by dogfish. That was what we've come here for. That was what the target is. Oh, it's still there. Yeah, it's another dogfish. This is a bolt rig. It's got a grip lead locked into a piece. I'll explain. I want to unhook this dogfish. There you go. The reason why I'm using this is so that I can spread the rods out a bit. Because I'm fishing a few rods, I want to be able to keep them spread out so they don't get tangled. You cast this away from the boat and the grip lead sticks in the sand, and the tide will pull the trace through until it hits up against there. If a fish picks this up, it will pull through until it hits the end of that. That will either hook the fish, a self-hooking rig, or it'll trip the lead out, in which case you'll register a slack line bite. Well, I've one last look at Mr. Ray. He's been sitting very patiently. He made the scales at 12 pounds and 2 ounces, and this is the first blonde ray that we've caught on this boat. So I don't know if you get some type of idea of the size, but he's an absolute beauty. I don't know if you can see those eyes properly. They are stunning. In fact, I'm going to get a photo of his eyes and then we're going to let him go. Sliding the anchor rope through this ring and this buoy. You use that, it's called an Alderney ring. You use that for hauling the anchor. I'll show you that when we come to haul it again. Just getting absolutely dogged out there, just dogfish after dogfish after dogfish. As soon as the baits hit the bottom, I had a dogfish on. So we're going to try somewhere else. Bait's back out now. The weather has started to pick up. Just getting a good bite on here. Try and show you. There you see the bite. My suspicion is another dogfish. tide's running hard now and the weather's picking up. I'm going to fish these last baits out, then we're going to go. This is, I don't even know how many. Got to that stage of the game. It looks like we have one on the other rod as well. Yep, I think we'll call it a day. Right, I've got all the rods packed up. I'm just going to try and fasten everything away, then we're going to pull the anchor and make tracks. We've had a fantastic day so far. Weather's just about starting to pick up now, and I don't want to have to steam into it all the way home. So I'm going to call it a day. We had some cracking fish. We had some nice pollock, some bonus pollock on the way here. That was just while I was looking for bait. And then when I managed to feather up some launch and some mackerel, managed to get a cracking bass. That was a fantastic bass, that. Just on a really simple live bait rig. Then when we got anchored up, we just got absolutely dogged out. I mean, you can see my fingers are absolutely, I've got no fingerprints left, just I've been dogged up. Lost count in the number, but I wouldn't even like to say. We did get the target species. I am over the moon to say that is the boat's first blonde ray. I've caught them before on other people's boats and on charters, but that is the first one that we've had on this boat. We had to come an awful long way to go and get it, so I'm really glad it worked out. I would like to thank Jerry Kennedy, because he was kind enough to donate the fuel for this trip. So this session is for you, mate. Thank you. I mean, the water's just starting to colour up a bit. I mean, we're getting, let's call it May bloom, and then if you can see in there on the reel round the leader knot, you get clumps of this. It's like a plankton growth in the water, and what it does is it just clouds it all up. So the fishing's not going to be fantastic until all this clears out a bit. Knocks a lot of the fishing on the head. I was hoping to do a bit more pollock fishing on the way back. If we can find a decent enough reef that's sheltered from the weather, then we'll give it a go. Hopefully there'll be a few more fish. If not, then tell you what, if we catch anything else, I'll put it in. If I don't, then I won't. All the best, and thank you very much again. Take it easy. What I'm doing now is I've just started the engine and I'm just jogging ahead until I can get the rope. Because if you remember, that big yellow buoy is sliding down the rope on a ring. If the boat is here and the anchor is there, I'm going to steam around in like a big C around past the anchor, and the float, the buoy, as I'm steaming along, will slide through the rope until it is like that and the anchor's on the seabed, and then the buoyancy of the buoy will lift the anchor for me. I like to take a turn of the rope around a cleat so I can hold on to it so I can feel if the anchor's going to bite it. As I steam off now, you will see the yellow buoy slide down the rope. When the buoy starts to disappear under the water, starts going like, you know, it's reached the anchor at the end. There, look, I don't know if you can see it, but the buoy's starting to bury under the water. Now you kill the engine, just pull the rope in. So instead of having to lift the weight of the anchor and the chain and the rope, the buoyer's done the hard work for me. All I'm doing now is just pulling it towards me. And there you are.